Hello everyone and welcome to our I Pick My Butt video, more Survivor.io, and today we're going to be giving you a weapon tier list, going through each individual weapon, breaking them down, kind of looking at the evo that's involved with it, and just kind of seeing which one is the best. Now, a couple disclaimers here, I am using all these weapons at the same rarity, no plus levels, they're all going in at excellent, and all at the same level, which I believe was level 31. We're also doing this at the same chapter, chapter 15, stuck on it, haven't played it a lot until today of testing all these weapons, just to kind of see which each one was going to be doing individually. And last, this is just my personal opinion based by my play style and what just feels right to me. Obviously, if you're using a weapon that I ranked low on this tier list and it's working for you, continue to use it. This is just my own personal opinion. The first weapon we're going to be going over is the shotgun, and this was my last weapon to get to excellent. Although the stat that's really standing out to me is that better one there, 2 times damage done to enemies in front. Especially hearing everybody talk about this whole machine gunning thing, I just thought that this was going to be an amazing weapon. Although when I tested it, what I found was, although it does do some decent damage, it's very slow and clunky, meaning that when you go and take a shot, you're waiting a good amount of time before you fire again, and enemies are already rushing up on you, which makes it kind of more of a running game and you're firing in the opposite direction. One of the benefits to this though is it uses the high power bullet as its evo, meaning that you're going to be guaranteed that you're getting that attack up to just do that extra damage inside the game. Now, every upgrade that there was for getting the shotgun to the next star level was always an additional 3 bullets and an increase in attack damage. So pretty much when you go and start off, you'll be shooting 3 shots at the same time, and by the end you'll have a spread of 15 shots. Now when you finally get the chance to evolve it, it's going to go into a Gatling, which is considered a machine of massacres. And where this does sound nice and it is a fast, rapid shoot, we lose our spread on it and now it just becomes a single line. And what I found myself doing was I just couldn't keep the enemy waves in control, so I just found myself kind of spinning in a circle. It's not auto tracking, so you're pretty much going in a straight line of the direction that you're pointing in. And even though this weapon did melt the bosses once I got it evolved, it just wasn't enough to handle the mobs and everything else going inside the game. So for that reason, I'm going to rank it 5th place. The next weapon we'll be talking about is the Katana, and I had high hopes for this, seeing how it got fixed in the update. Before this, you could only shoot it left or right, which was really annoying and made it completely useless. But the big ability that kind of shines on this here is Blade Waves also release a Kai Blast, which is going to be like an extension of the blade that you see coming out. Every upgrade on this was add Blade Wave power plus 1 additional Blade Wave, and in order to get this thing evolved, we had to get Ronin's Oyari. I always say that wrong, but receive damage minus 10%, which isn't really anything to write home about. When it comes time to evolving this, it's going to turn into the Demon Blade, and the description is Thirst for Blood, and we're now going to get a cool red color of it, which really seems to be the best thing that I could find on this here. Overall, it felt really kind of useless, and it wasn't really practical. I'd much rather have 5 slashes just going straight ahead of me versus this back and forth type zigzag thing that it does. So for that reason, I'm going to rank it number 6. The next weapon we have is the baseball bat, and there's 2 abilities I really like on this. Attacks inflict bleed, and knockback distance is doubled. And this weapon actually carried me through a lot of my early chapters inside the game. And even when doing the testing, this one actually got me to the final boss, where the other 2 had me struggling past that 10-minute mark. As far as the evo on this, you're going to need to grab the fitness guide, and people may not be crazy about the max HP plus 20%, but if you notice, this is also going to be the evo for the brick, which means that we can now throw another ability out there and have an extra slot for something like a high power bullet. Another great thing about this is every star level is going to add attack range, add damage, and reduce the attack cooldown. And at times when I finally got this thing up to 5 stars, I did see that cooldown kind of glitch out on me, but going away from the mobs and just going back in kind of automatically reset it. And it is a lot nicer when we're swinging that bat fast, because it is doing some incredible damage. It seemed like the damage I was seeing when I finally evolved this was almost double for what I was seeing on the Katana and even the shotgun. And for those reasons, I'm going to put this weapon in 3rd place. The next weapon we have is the revolver, and this turns into an absolute powerhouse. The ability really focused on here is the 1 bullet restored after an enemy is killed, meaning that you're going to get 5 shots, and every time you kill an enemy, you're going to get 1 more. Now, if the enemy doesn't get killed, you're going to burn through all 5 of those bullets and then have to wait for a cooldown to have all 5 of them replenished. The nice thing about this, though, is this uses the high power bullet for the evo, the one that gives the attack up to it. And then every single star upgrade is going to double the damage. I saw my number get up to, I think, about 72,000 for a single hit on it. In comparison, the Katana was doing about 7,000 for a single hit, the shotgun was doing about 11,000, and the bat was doing about 20,000. So 72,000 sounds insane. Now when you finally go and evolve this thing into the Reaper, you're going to get a second bank of bullets. I mean, you still have 5 shots, but now you're going to be firing off 2 of them. So pretty much like you get a second revolver. Now the downfalls of this is a very limited space of the area that you can shoot. You can see the little range on it there, and you really do have to be lined up. This is not an auto aim. And for me, I found this weapon to be very difficult. Even though it does such a good amount of damage, I really struggle using this. So for that reason, I'm going to put this at number 4. And to clarify, I did use this weapon to beat both chapters 10 and 11, so I am familiar with it, but somebody that's well more experienced with this and can handle this properly might put this at the top of their list. So that leaves us with 2 weapons left, the Kunai and the Lightchaser, and these things both seem to be polar opposites of each other. Now the Kunai, this is going to be kind of an auto-tracking weapon, meaning you really don't have to aim on this one. It's going to automatically shoot at the enemy that's closest to you. And the stats that really stand out on this, at better, we're going to be doing an extra 30% of kunai damage, and then at excellent, we're going to be starting off with a second kunai, which is really going to help. Now this is a very fast-paced weapon, meaning that by the time you finish shooting, it seems like it's not long before you're shooting again. And the fact that we're auto-tracking and always hitting the closest enemy, it's really easy to manage and just kind of control a lot of the enemies that come at you. Now every start ability that you grab is going to add 1 extra kunai and also add damage. Now the downfall of this is the Evo is that Koja scroll there, and it's going to give experience, which is going to be probably frowned upon as far as getting that more attack and stuff. But once we finally do get this thing evolved into the Shuriken, it really does just melt, and especially up against bosses, being auto-tracking, you can just run around and those bosses will eventually drop on you with no problem. And for damage wise, I was hitting for about 12,000 damage for each single shot. On the other hand, we had the Lightchaser, and right off the bat, we have plus 15% attack where all the other weapons have plus 10%. We also have a higher attack rate from the weapon itself where everything else sits at 320. We're sitting at 345 on this one. Now the other stats to look at is all attack intervals minus 15%, but the excellent stat of every 5 attacks it's going to be doing a backward slash, and this is actually going to be an attack in 4 different directions, which pretty much means when we get this thing all the way maxed out or evolved, we're pretty much hitting everything on the screen within distance, that is. Just like the Katana, we're also going to need to get Ronin's Vest in order to get this to Evo, and we're going to get 10% damage reduction. Now every time we go up a star level, we're going to get an extra blade and also get increased damage. Now when I finally did get this to 5-star, I was doing about 10,000 damage for every single enemy hit. Now when we take it to Eternal Light, we're going to still have the same damage, but now we're going to have a second wave that immediately follows the first one, so hence the kind of pink and purple that you see on the screen. Now as far as where I rank both of these weapons at excellent rarity, I am actually going to put the Lightchaser at number 2 and the Kunai at number 1. I honestly believe though, once these get to epic, that the Lightchaser is going to equal the Kunai, if not surpass it, but that's just my personal opinion from what I'm seeing others use, and unfortunately I don't have it there yet. To sum it all up, the revolver is the strongest weapon. The Kunai is going to be the best at melting bosses, and the Lightchaser is going to be the best at controlling mobs. Overall though, really curious to know how you guys would rank these. If you haven't already, join the Discord, love to discuss it with you. Other than that though, don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, I pick my butt.